Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Equal Rights, and I'm a fairly new YouTube channel. I hope I don't really have to post tremendous amounts of content. I certainly don't want to do this frequently. It's not something I particularly enjoy. It is kind of a sad matter, but I like to start the video by saying no, I will not be showing my face for protection reasons. This video could possibly be taken in the wrong sense, and that does risk my my person and people I'm associated with, and God knows I don't want them to be targeted or anything like that. So I also like to clear up that I am not in any way sexist. I believe everybody has rights, whether you're male, female, black or white, atheist, Christian. It doesn't matter to me. I believe everybody has the same rights. I could be seen as equalist. I personally think I am an equalist. I am still myself researching into the field to make sure I am associating myself with the right group. But anyway, on to the topic of the video. This video is kind of a standpoint for me on social justice, how it's recently been taken, how it's being dealt with, and I personally believe it's in a wrong manner. But I guess onto the video. So I'd like to start off. This video is obviously about feminism. Obviously, so I'm going to start off by describing old feminism to new feminism, or the modern day feminists. So traditionally, feminism was about women's rights, women getting the right to vote. Everybody knows about the women's suffrage. Everybody passed middle school history, I assume. So everybody knows about women's suffrage, how they fought for the right to vote, work, everything. So women in the past have set a good record for themselves as being a strong sex. I believe women are a strong sex. I grew up around strong women my entire life. They are a strong sex. But modern day feminism seems to completely disregard everything traditional feminists have set in motion. They set themselves on a smooth ride to equal rights. Now, I do understand that there are still social injustices today. There's plenty of cases where men are getting paid more than women solely because the boss may be sexist, and I do believe that is extremely wrong. I believe everybody, if you're doing the same equal amount of work, you deserve the same pay, not counting like minor things like, oh, he worked extra late nights, or she stayed late to finish some papers or whatever. Besides that, the same amount of work deserves the same amount of pay, regardless of any background, or not background, I guess, but any sex, race, anything. So modern day feminism has been known to be a hate group. That saddens me deeply, because I've always seen feminism as a strong party. They fought for their rights. We certainly know that they did get some. I believe they got a good amount. I believe they are equal part of men, even though most tend not to think so, and I'll explain why. I believe it's all by word of mouth. Now, this is my personal theory. It's all by word of mouth, because of them completely disregarding what women in the past have set in motion. They tend to believe that women are just straight up not being given equal rights. Now, this could be because of personal reasons, personal things that happen to them, and I'm sorry if something personal happened to you for you to believe this, but women are now becoming seen as victims. And as a strong sex, or as a male, if I was being known as being a victim, I would feel offended. I would honestly feel offended. I feel like being a victim means I'm not able to stand up for myself. And women in the past have clearly shown that they're able to stand up for themselves. So that's my old feminist versus modern day feminism done. Now, on to the what modern feminism have set in motion. So if we're talking about feminism, obviously Gamergate is going to bring up, because that is a very strong subject towards feminism. And when Gamergate first started, I didn't know who was the good guy. It took me a good week or two to realize there is no good guy in this situation in the first place. Like every other party in the world, there is the radical group, there's the neutral group, there's the good group. There's multiple groups to be part of. Christians, atheists, everybody has a group. So the Gamergate side, actually, I guess I might as well start with the story. So about a year ago, and it was roughly a year ago, a female journalist named Zoe Quinn created a video game called Depression Quest, and it was on Steam for quite a while, and it received good views. The reason it received good views is because she slept with 5 game journalists to give that game good reviews. Some of them working for, I believe 1 or 2 was working for Kotaku, a famous website for video game based information. But regardless of that, she set in motion that women can be strong journalists. Now, I don't understand how her sleeping with 5 men could make women feel like they're strong after that. I would feel terrible if my gender was known to be strong because a guy slept with like 30 women or something like that. I would feel offended. But she set this in motion, and the game was perceived as crap. A lot of people who personally play it says crap. I personally have not played it because I will not want to spend money on this because I personally just don't care about it, and I don't have depression, and I don't see how a video game can help with depression. I understand video games have their medical benefits in a certain way, but I don't see how a game can help depression unless you're finding pure absolute joy out of it. And if a game based on depression or a game explaining depression, I think would not really help the subject. So she made this game, Depression Quest. It received crap reviews from word of mouth of people on Steam reviews, and this started an uproar because people's reviews, good people who played this game, bought this game, and just did not enjoy it, were posting their reviews on why they did not enjoy it, and they were being shut down. Their comments were being deleted. Everything was being deleted. So it got to the point where it was more of like a fight for the First Amendment. People felt their right of freedom of speech was being destroyed, and it absolutely was. They were destroying their freedom of speech. There was no rule saying you cannot have freedom of speech on this website. I don't think there will ever be rules on websites saying you can't have freedom of speech. But they're being shut down. So they started this Gamergate group to voice their opinions against this. Now, Gamergate, I believe, initially was taken the wrong way. I believe they felt it was fighting feminism rather than it was actually fighting social injustice or fighting the Constitution. So feminists took this the wrong way and had an uproar. Now I understand there probably was some bad Gamergates who probably said something sexist or mildly sexist or anything of that, but it was received the wrong way initially, and it caused a pretty much a social war. It was Gamergate versus feminists. And I mean, neither side was truly right. Every side had their ups and downs. I understand some Gamergaters hacked feminist sites and hacked accounts and stuff like that. And feminists were getting people fired from their jobs by tracking this individual, a certain individual, and then messaging their bosses in large populations asking for this individual to be fired. And I believe that was incredibly wrong. You are getting somebody fired for voicing their opinion. And I believe that is extremely wrong, especially me being a true-blooded American. I believe everybody has the right, including the right of speech. And when you are saying your right of speech we don't agree with, you don't deserve to have a job, then that is just incredibly wrong. So truly, neither side was right. But the thing I like to point out was these bad individuals of Gamergate were a minority. There was very few of them, while most of them truly believe that they had their right, and they, by all means, they do have rights. Everybody has rights. And there's the minority of good feminists. They were the minority. I saw more hate from them than I saw good. And that saddens me because they are now known to be a hate group. They're made fun of on the internet. They have their own propaganda against them, and that saddened me because feminism was initially a strong thing, and I truly believe that everybody has rights. So when they're being known as a hate group because the majority of them are hating, then they're not setting anything for themselves right. They're fighting themselves at this point and destroying what they're trying to set. Back onto the topic of women in the past has set a good road for themselves, with these modern feminists just disregarding it and just going off rail and destroying human progression. Speaking of human progression, I believe we were getting better initially. Women and men have been getting better. Things are getting better. The internet was just about funny pictures, rage comics, and stuff like that. And then this just sparks. And then it was an all-out war. So it saddened me to see that women are now being, or feminists that is, are being known as a hate group. And by all means, there's plenty of women who don't stand by feminism, who understand that it's being perceived as a hate group, and therefore also become equalists like me. So it's just a big social injustice. So on the social standard of it, there is a huge social standard. Social standards change as time goes on. I recently got an argument with somebody online, and I was wrong. They stated that they posted a picture of or this one account posted a picture of a shirtless man and said, "My next picture will be a shirtless woman," and this was on the app Instagram. And they said that if the woman gets reported and deleted, then that's sexism. And I replied, that's not sexism. This is a family app that has no age restriction, and by you putting that picture out there, you are jeopardizing youth. You are showing mature manner to people who might not be mature. So this other account that I got in the fight with was saying, no, it is sexist. And I failed to see, or I guess I didn't fail because it wasn't sexist. If you're posting pictures of a private area on the internet, then I am not wrong here. But what I was wrong was them talking about secondary sexual glands. As I did my research, and these sexual glands are produced by the hormones of when you hit puberty and mature. So female breasts and the men's Adam's apple. Now this is where I was wrong. She said that the men's Adam's apple was a secondary sexual gland like the breast, and I took that the wrong way as them saying I guess I should wear a bra for my neck. But I flat out said, no, that is wrong. I'm sorry, but I cannot agree with this. And after talking to this individual more in private sessions and them send me documented facts on this, I slowly realized, all right, I was wrong here. I apologize. And that's the way things should be done. Things should not have to resort to war. There should be documented facts, everything. If you're going to have an argument, please display proof to support your argument. Don't be relying on yelling and hating to do this, because I believe in equality. And when you're fighting, like when humanity is fighting itself, especially in like America, we're not helping ourselves in any way. We're hurting ourselves in that point. So back to social justice and social standards, there is a social standard. Women cannot show their breasts in public because it's seen as a sexualized part of their body. I believe it's a sexualized part of the body because during sexual intercourse, it is taken as a sexual part of the body. It's considered a romantic gesture and whatnot. So when you say an argument that displaying female breasts in public is sexist, it's not. That's just like me displaying my testicles in public. I mean, that's not allowed at all. I would be arrested on the spot. So when you say there is no social standard, there is. There's always been a social standard, even in caveman times. Cavemen initially went out, hunted, and women stayed in and took care of that, I guess the cave or whatnot. They farmed, they gathered, while men were hunting animals, because men back then were genetically built to fight animals and to fight and to hunt, while women were built for other purposes. I'm not saying that women today are built to solely stay at home. I believe women deserve equal rights, but that was the social standard back then. A little bit later, women are also kept inside house, but they have more room now. They can work, they can teach, they can do all this other stuff, but men were still sought as the primary workforce. Now, women, there's just as many women in the workforce as men, and that's a great thing. That is truly a great thing. But when you disregard all of that and saying women are just being oppressed, you're not taking into account your accomplishments as women, and that's where you go wrong. So feminism now is seen as a joke, sadly. It's a huge joke online, and I'm sad to see it that way. I don't think feminism is a joke, but it's being perceived as a joke because these modern feminists are fighting people with just being illogical. They're not stating facts, they're being hypocrites, all this. So I truly believe for us to get better is we have to try and stop these social injustices. And this video can be received as being sexist, and by all means, if you think this is sexist, like, message me on somehow. Yeah, I'll give you my email in the video if I have to. In the comment section if asked. But it's just sadly being seen as any kind of other opinion is seen to be sexist. So that's not technically true. So I hope this would only have to be my only video. If this problem progresses throughout humanity and throughout the years, and this channel might get more, but I pray that it doesn't. I truly believe humanity has excelled in the past 100 years to the point where we can be happy, but we're not giving ourselves this happiness. So just to reiterate, I'm an equalist. Everybody deserves rights. Blacks, whites, women, men, Muslims, Christians, Jews, atheists, everybody. So I'd like to thank you guys for taking your time to watch this video. I understand it's probably pretty lengthy. It's about 15 minutes and 40 seconds at this point. I understand it could be pretty boring listening to me talk, but I truly believe this video needed to be put out there. So thank you, and you guys have a good one.